Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. It is that time of the week again. Aiden, it's our favorite time of the week, Super Rugby. What you saying, my man? We had another glorious weekend. As we say, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it feels repetitive saying that every weekend, but it's true. It does just keep on giving. I'm a little happier this weekend because my team actually managed to win. But bangers after bangers all week. There were a few surprises for me in terms of results. But, you know, I think this is the first week we've seen some of the scorelines be a little further apart. But other than that, man, the rugby was excellent.
But in saying that, we had 3 games that ended in 5 points. 3 points, actually.
Yeah. You had, some of the games were very close and then a couple of them a little further apart. But even those games were they were still good rugby to watch. They weren't poor games by any stretch of the imagination. And you're always going to get days like that where one team just pitches up that little bit better than the other team and ends up running away with it. So, man, another exciting week. We've got a lot to talk about.
You said a couple of surprises. Nope. I smell another full house. That is 2 full houses out of 3. Well,
yeah.
The previous one was an absolute stinker, to be fair. But I'll take that all day long. Right? So, people, if you do like putting your money on something, there's a link in the description if you fancy some bets. Anyway, let's talk about it. Please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate you guys. Go to Aiden's TikTok. Go follow him. Go show him some support. He carries Super Rugby. But anyway, Highlanders Hurricanes, banger. Scraping over the line by 2 points, but he'll take that all day long, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying on these chats over the past few weeks, I think the key areas that the Hurricanes are missing out on, other than injuries, we try not to blame it on that, is just defensive decision-making. And that last 10 minutes from the Hurricanes was simply beautiful defense. I don't want to hear none of this. There's no defending in Super Rugby. They made over 100 tackles.
115, I think, to be fair.
115 in the last 10 minutes of that game.
That's ridiculous.
That is outrageous. And they gave away no penalties in 115 tackles. Yeah, there was probably one that should have been a penalty for a high tackle. But hey, it came off a forward pass a couple phases earlier. So it balances out.
But I think the rule was that they didn't drag that back because the TMO only steps in when it's foul play, and they deemed it as a high tackle, but not in a foul play degree of danger, if I could say it like that. That's why they didn't step in for that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it should have been a penalty, but since the ref didn't call it, they can't look back at it. So I understand why they didn't go back. I would have awarded it a penalty in the first place. But as I said, it came off a forward pass a couple of phases earlier. So, you know, it all balances out. And I'm going to take a bloody win when I can get one, especially against a really quality Highlander side who, to be honest, were only in the game because of an intercept try and a quick chip kick off a penalty. They didn't build any phases in this game. They just scored 2 quick tries out of nowhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, two standouts in this game for me. Tangi Tau, how good?
Oh, my God.
Like, seriously. Bro, that guy looks unstoppable at the moment. And a standout, but in a bad way, Harry Godfrey really struggled.
Yeah.
I think that guy was not at the races.
No, mate, he's a young player, and, you know, he's had some exceptional games and losing performances, and, you know, sometimes you just don't get that week in, week out with some of the young guys who are just, you know, learning their craft, so to speak, and becoming more experienced in the positions. But, you know, I'm sure he'll look at his performance and try and improve where he can. He's obviously a quality player, but I think they'll just be happy that they got the win away from home against a team that's playing well at the moment.
Yeah, and obviously that gives you another week break because I think you guys have your bye this weekend, right?
Yeah, no Hurricanes for the week coming up.
Yeah, so no stressful times for you, just enjoying the rugby. That's kind of the takeaway from that.
Yeah.
But in the end, like, you needed that. And just to tell you how tight it was, like, the Hurricanes were sitting in 11th before this weekend, sitting in 7th after that one victory.
Yeah, we don't have many bonus points, even in our losses, unfortunately. So we do need to rack up a few more wins. But they won't hurt the Highlanders too much either. They're obviously same win to loss ratio as us at the moment, but more bonus points, which they deserved. I thought Duplessis Karifi had a really good game as well as a captain. Mate, his steal on the 5 meter line was massive. And then again in the middle of the park, which we should have won the game from there, but unfortunately, Safa Amur threw an absolutely wonky line out that gave them possession back. But anyways, it's good to have those guys back, Lomax and Almoa. They did make an impact off the bench in the scrum, especially. So,
yeah, defense won you that game, out and out, right? I mean, the last 10 minutes kind of summed up the game. We're just like defending for your life, getting it done right there at the death. You'll take the victory. That's basically the crux of it. Anyway, Crusaders versus Force. And I think the Force did well to get 33 points. But if you look at the stat, Marcus Springer, bro, 5 tries.
We've missed a game. We've skipped a game, but yeah.
Oh, shit. My bad. Let's talk about the Crusaders first. Yeah, we'll get back to that one. 8 tries between the wings. Or was it 7?
9 if you include Will Jordan.
No, but he's the fullback. So, Sevu Reece with 2. I thought it was a smart pick.
3.
Having him as captain, right?
Yeah.
Getting him there. Imagine if you had all 3 in your fantasy. Will Jordan.
Some people who had. It was nuts. Yeah, Sevu Reece got a hat trick in the first half. Marcus Springer had 2 in the first half and 3 in the second half. So he had 5, which is a record. He's tied a record at least in the Super Rugby.
Ridiculous.
And then Will Jordan had 1 as well. So he had 9 tries in the back 3, which is nuts. And they all scored over 100 points on the Super Rugby Fantasy, which, by the way, up until that game, only 1 player had scored more than 100 points, and that was Damien McKenzie in round 1. So we're in round 5 now, and 3 people in the same game for the same team scored over 100 points. Nuts.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And I don't even think the Force were terrible. I didn't watch that game thinking, oh, they were dreadful. It's just the Crusaders team. We spoke about them having all the quality in the world. David Avili, once again. I mean, the guy went off at like 60 minutes, just put in another 8.5 performance. Consistency. Do we speak about this guy every single week as like one of the most underrated players?
Yeah, he's classy. I don't think he has anything like super flashy about him or anything. It's just, week in, week out, he does his job. He's good at it. He doesn't make many mistakes, if any. And just, Mr. Reliable is the way you describe him. Yeah,
and to be fair to the Force, right? It wasn't their full-strength team by any stretch of the imagination. So for them to still get 33 points, they'll probably take it. Did the Crusaders get the bonus point on this one? Most likely, right?
I'll be able to tell you. Facts only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they would have, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Taking their 5 points.
Dreadful. That's why.
Yeah, sitting in second, obviously with the game in hand over the Chiefs, who have not had their bye. But if they can get another bonus point victory, that would currently put them in first. So this is definitely not the Crusaders of last year, which is great because they stunk it out last year.
Yeah, I mean, I said this at the start of the season. It's not going to happen again. They had so many injuries last year, new coaching setup, new everything. And the people that were injured were all their All Blacks. Like, not just some of their crew. It was the All Blacks that were all injured. And they are the starting All Blacks. Like, they're the guys that are starting in their positions. Cody Taylor, Will Jordan, etc. So the big names that they were missing. And you can tell the difference when they're back. And they're going to be a tough team to beat, especially at home. They do really well in Christchurch.
Yeah. Brumbies, Drua. Brumbies played well.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Drew, it wasn't one of the games you felt like probably deserved to win, like some of the games they've had earlier in the comp. The Brumbies just looked class, didn't make mistakes, looked good with the ball in hand. The Drew fought back for a little while, but then, that sort of early in the second half, they scored 3 quick tries, which was, get them back in the match. But then just too strong. Iki Tau with 3. And the
you were sensational.
Yeah, just everywhere. The one week you don't put him in the fantasy team because he didn't score many points previously, and he goes and scores a hat trick. So that's frustrating.
And Muirhead,
Yeah,
bro,
Muirhead
he was
played well.
everywhere.
Tom Wright is still just freakishly good. Like Tom Wright is one of the best fullbacks in the world on form at the moment. And if you don't watch much of the Super Rugby or Southern Hemisphere rugby and you're sitting in the north thinking that's crazy, trust me, this guy's a freak. He's so good at what he does, especially ball in hand. He's so creative, so exciting. So I just like watching him play.
You just love watching him because he's a sexy guy. Don't even start.
It's not bad. He's easy on the eyes.
Underrated player for not even underrated really, but like underrated for the Wallabies, Charlie Cale. How good?
Yeah, I talked about him last year. I think he came from sort of a sevens background, I believe. He's super athletic. He might have come from like AFL or something, but he's super athletic, fast, big, tall. He's quite a lean number 8. He's not, chunky by any means, and he's quick.
Yeah, the guy carries. He really carries. Like he drags true defenders with him, and those guys are massive.
Yeah, he plays like a Fijian player sometimes. You'll find him in the wide channels as the number 8, and since he's got pace, like he's not a slouch out there. He can make the breaks and run away from people, especially some of the opposition forwards. So another one to watch.
You look at those Wallaby Lucies, and you're like, fucking hell, that might be some of the best in the world. Because, I mean, you're looking at Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright, Harry Wilson, who was obviously the captain as well. Then you add Carlo Tizzano, Charlie Cale.
Yeah.
Bro, how do you pick 3 of those?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And then you have people like Gamble and stuff stepping up for the Waratahs, who not in this game particularly, but in general they're playing really well as well. Rob Leota. There's a lot of talent in the Lucies, and there's just a lot of talent in Australia at the moment. And I mean, we've said it a few times in some of these chats. You can see the difference it's made going down a team and just building the stocks up a bit better and being a bit more competitive within the teams as well as within the comp.
Yeah. Blues putting up more of a fight this time against the Chiefs, just not getting over the line. 1-point game, repeat of round 1. As a Chiefs fan, you probably take that all day long, but you definitely had the shits watching this.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably say the Blues deserve this one. Again, no Bowden Barrett out for injury, a couple more injuries in the squad. And obviously we talked about it last week. We sort of thought, with the injuries they have, it should be comfortable. We said it was a safe bet to bet on the Chiefs. And watching that game, it was anything but safe. The guys stepped up. The likes of, Forbes, Evans, Corey Evans in the back 3 at 15. He was exceptional, scored a try as well. AJ Lamb on the wing, I thought he played really well. Talia had a good game. Xavier Ta'ali in the centres, he was sensational. And Rico had a good game.
Yeah. But you reckon this is one of those cases where it's like, obviously the Blues were great, but that makes the Chiefs even more impressive, where it's like, well, they probably played the best of the Blues that we've seen so far and still got over the line. Like, they've showed great maturity in terms of how they've performed this season compared to last season, and getting a victory over the Blues, who probably put up their best fight, that's massive for you. Massive in terms of momentum, massive for the table. The Blues still sitting in 9th. Obviously, if they got a victory there, if this was the other way around, Chiefs probably sitting in 4th, right? With the Blues climbing all the way till 6th. And that makes a massive difference on the table.
Yeah, I think.
And now it's 1-9.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Chiefs, they did show a sort of maturity to their performance when it got close. And look, I mean, as much as we say that it was a mature performance from the Chiefs, there's a mature performance from the Chiefs as well. It was the goalpost that ultimately won the game for the Chiefs at the end. Like, it was a good kick. Had he been further away, if he'd taken a few steps back for his kick, the way it was curling in, it would have gone over. So
yeah,
you feel bad for the kicker.
In the end, those are if buts maybes.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think that's how good the comp is at the moment, that the number 1 team in the comp can go up against the number 9, or at the time, number 11 team in the comp, and it be a 1-point difference.
Yeah, yeah. And then the final game, Reds versus the Waratahs. 35 points to 15. You called the Waratahs to actually get it done.
Yeah, well, they played well last week. What happened? It's like a different team.
Yeah, they got smoked. Absolutely hammered.
Well, it was bizarre because watching the first 15 minutes, it was like all Waratahs. They looked so much better than the Reds. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is what I was expecting from the Waratahs. You know, a few scrappy wins, then a good performance against the Force, and then they're going to get into their season. And then the first 15 minutes looked just like that. The Reds looked like they were shaken, nervous. The Waratahs were so much more physical than they were. And then, you know, the Waratahs scored an early try, and then they struggled to like complete some of their phases and make the most of their opportunities. Then the Reds sort of scored one against the grain of play. And then as soon as that happened, it was like a light switch had turned on in the Reds team. And immediately...
At the feel about the France versus Ireland game.
Yeah. Like the first 15 minutes was like, you know, all Waratahs or all Ireland. And then once that mentality switch or whatever it was in the Reds team, it just looked like they were never going to lose that game from there. And the Waratahs just looked, I don't know, disjointed, disoriented, and definitely not the team they were last week.
But we've seen this in the tournament so far, and we kind of said, okay, well, it's a new look team and everything. But the victory that they got last weekend we spoke about that being the massive confidence booster. This is how they can play. And then you go back to how you looked in literally the first round. Oh, tough ball to swallow, because this was a derby as well.
Yeah, it's the derby in Australian rugby. Like, it's the most fiery one. The crowd was good. The atmosphere was brilliant. So, yeah, the Waratahs fans will be disappointed, and so will the players and the coaching staff and whatnot, because that was below par for them and what we know that they can do. So,
yeah. Okay, halfway through it, let's do our predictions for the next round. I got to get a back-to-back full house. I'm backing myself.
Yeah.
Moana versus the Chiefs. Are Chiefs going full strength? Let me see.
Let's have a look-see. Rampling. No, because I don't have... Tapai's on the bench. Leonard Brown's still injured. But, you know, it's still pretty strong. They've got Rampling and Rona in the centres. Rona's really good. Narawa on the wing. Leroy Carter.
It's full strength except for the centres.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're still putting Tokiaho off the bench currently, which is fine. But
yeah, and there's no Adi Surveyor for Moana.
Is he still injured? Oh, yeah, that's
massive. Give me the Chiefs all day long on this one then.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I mean, it is Moana at home, and they did look really good against the Hurricanes, even without Savea on the field. But can they get this consistency? Like, getting up for one-off performances is one thing. And
yeah, but how good have the Hurricanes been?
Yeah, and the Hurricanes haven't been great. Fair enough. Like, it's a fair call. So it would be an upset for sure if Moana won this game. But hey, the Drua beat the Chiefs, and we thought that wasn't going to happen. Even though obviously Fiji, hardest place to play. But yeah, give me the Chiefs as well. Chiefs by
9.
8. We're always on the same page.
Yeah. I just can't see past a Chiefs victory on this one. Like, I know Moana's at home. They are obviously going to be a bit more tough, but no Adi Surveyor. And the way that the Chiefs have played, obviously they've got the one loss against the Drua. And that was still as tight as it possibly can be. And the Drua just don't lose at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's just say Chiefs to keep on building on that momentum that they have. 9 points feels fair enough. Highlanders Reds. Game of the weekend.
Yeah, it could be Highlanders at home again. The atmosphere will be good, hopefully. Finn Hurley back in action after his great game against the Blues. Tangi Tau. Tava Nawai's on the win. Yeah, okay. Taniela Talia and the other Umanga Jensen, the one that plays for the Highlanders, not the Hurricanes, is in centres. Nathan Hastian at 9. Yeah, I mean, it's a strong side. Vakena, who came off the bench and was really good against the Hurricanes.
No Fraser McWright, though.
No Fraser McWright. Sarah Uru been playing really well. Harry Wilson at 8, Bryant 7 to replace. Yeah, man, this is Holland's on the bench. Who they got started? Dunshay and TK Harden. Yeah, it's going to be, man. Oh, this is going to be an exciting game. Give me the Landers.
I'm gonna keep backing my dark horses. I support the Islanders, but like I've put myself out there to say, listen, the Reds are the underdogs. They're sitting in third. They've played decent. I'm gonna say exactly what I said about the Waratahs last weekend, and say that victory was needed over the Waratahs, and they're gonna build on that momentum and get the victory this time. Okay. But the Islanders have been no scrubs this season. The Islanders are probably the favourites in this game. Do you reckon?
Definitely at home, yeah.
Are you backing the Landers?
Landers by 7.
Let's go Reds by 4. I'm backing the upset victory. I know the Aussie teams don't travel well. Previous time I said that, I backed the Aussie team. I backed Brumbies to get it done over the Blues. I'm backing the Reds to get it done over the Islanders.
Yeah.
They've looked good. The one thing that the Reds have shown me is fighting spirit, to stay in the game, to make their tackles. I mean, they were by no means the better team against the Force, but somehow they just stayed in the game and got it done right at the end. Feels like those games can be in the same WhatsApp group.
Yeah, fair.
Blues Crusaders. Do you reckon we see a good Blues again?
Mate, as we said about the Waratahs Reds, this is the New Zealand derby. Historically, Auckland, Christchurch, Canterbury, Auckland, Crusaders, Blues. It's fierce, you know. It's the biggest, the most historic rivalry in New Zealand. Again, it's one of those.
You wouldn't want to be on the losing side.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one that they will hate to lose if they're in that team. You can sort of say form sort of goes a bit hayward for this one. But, man, it's the Blues got a bit of strength back. Caleb Clark back in action. Perifetta starting at 10. How good is that? So Tutu back in the squad after his red card. And then you've got, full strength Crusaders, Tamati Williams, Cody Taylor, Fletcher Neal, Scott Barrett, David Harvey, Will Jordan, Sevu Reece, the likes of those players. So
how does Marcus Springer feel after being dropped after scoring 5 tries in a game for Fiaki?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough. But, Fiaki was the incumbent before him. They usually, Macca was always sort of on the bench or the second string player, so to say. He's on the bench with James O'Connor, so some good people they can bring on. Same for the Blues with
Noah Otham is back as well. Was he back last weekend?
I'm not sure. I think so, yeah. But obviously, Kyle Preston's been playing pretty good, so tough to knock him out right now.
Yeah, no. Fair enough. I'm going to go wild.
What?
I'm backing the Blues.
It's at home for the Blues. It's not that wild.
Yeah, but on form?
They almost beat the Chiefs.
I'm backing it. I'll explain it to you. I'm backing it purely on the Crusaders' defensive fragility. Like they do like conceding a try. And if you look at the back line, Caleb Clark, Mark Talaya, obviously Evans is there instead of Bowden Barrett, maybe at 15. I know Bodie has played 10. Rico Ioane, he loves scoring a try. Stephen Perifetta will be fired up for this game as well. I've just not seen enough from the Crusaders defensively. If you look at that performance against the Force, who didn't really have any opportunities, but still managed to get 33 points with a second-string team, give me the Blues.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like the Blues have been leaking points.
No, and they probably should have beat the Chiefs away. So I don't think their form's that bad. It's just the finer touches, and Yeah, I mean, it's less fun if we agree on everything. So give me the Crusaders.
That's our second disagreement.
Yeah, but it keeps things interesting. And it's not like I'm just saying it to disagree with you, because this game to me is very 50-50. I just think
it's a tough one to call.
I mean,
obviously,
for me,
if you go player for
player,
it's probably the Crusaders.
The battle of the back three is going to be crazy. I mean, you've got two All Blacks wingers and the likes of Talir and Clark, and then you have another All Blacks winger and the All Blacks fullback and the likes of Sever Reese and Will Jordan. Like, that's going to be electric going against each other. Then you add Chafee Haki and Corey Evans as well. And, the forwards, I think, are pretty evenly matched up. I think the Crusaders have a stronger front row.
Yeah, definitely.
But then you've got Patrick Tuipulotu against Scott Barrett, very experienced players, All Blacks. And
if you look at that, the loose trio of the Blues, I think they have the upper hand in that one.
Yeah, I would say so too. On form, Dalton Papali'i, Hoskins Sotutu, Cam Christie as well. But then Cullen Grace, Christian Leawilliam, and Tom Christie, they're no slouches either. So it's on paper, it's exciting. I think the key thing that I'd be worried about as a Crusader supporter is kicking points, because Kamara last week was dreadful. He had like 1 million kicks at goal and he made like 2 of them. And some of them were really easy. Whereas Perifetta, he's going to knock him over. That guy's accurate off the tee.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, they just bring on Harry Plummer.
Yeah, who's even more accurate. So that'll be a thing for the Crusaders to, make sure they can't leave those 2 points or the 3 points out there if they're playing a team that's going to try and keep it close.
Yeah. Give me the Blues by 2 points.
Give me the Crusaders by 2 points.
Okay. Waratahs versus the Brumbies. Waratahs at home, stinking it out last weekend. But in true Waratahs fashion, they can easily bounce back. But the thing is, recent history is not in their favor. I think the Brumbies actually did a little bit of shit talking when it comes to social media. I don't know if you saw it. 15 in a row. They posted a video about the 15 in a row.
Yeah, and exciting news for both of us for this game. Mr. Rob Valentini is back, playing number 8 for the Brumbies. Poor Charlie Cale, who's been brilliant, is been not even on the bench. He's gone.
Do you reckon it's just a rest?
Yeah,
because
probably.
Rob Valentini will probably move to 6 and Charlie Cale to 8 if they were to go full strength.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. Yeah, but Reimer's been brilliant too. So who knows?
This reeks of a low-scoring game, though.
It's either going to be like low-scoring or like ridiculously high-scoring. I don't think there's going to be an in-between, because again, the talent and excitingness of some of the players we got going. Callaway and Jorgensen for the Waratahs, we both think are pretty class. Corey Toole, Andy Muirhead, and Tom Wright, the back three for the Brumbies. That's going to be, well, I get to watch Tom Wright play rugby, and that's awesome. So,
and obviously the standout player that we all love and adore, Angus Bell.
Oh, bro, that guy's a tackle breaking machine.
Yeah. He's been in my fantasy from the start. I've just been like, that guy, he's ruthless.
Yeah, I've got 2 players in my team, or 3 players really in my team that don't change unless there's a bye. Angus Bell, Cam Roigard, and Damien McKenzie. They stay in the team unless they've got a bye.
Yeah. The other one for me is a prop that's been there from the start for the Force. It's Pierce. I don't even know his name.
Yeah, he's been good too. Yeah, really good. He gets quite a few points. He likes to tackle and run the ball. So,
do you know when Joseph Suali is back?
No, I don't even know what's wrong with him. So I hope to see him back, because the guy's exciting, man. He's a massive addition to the team as well. So, yeah, I don't know. He's upsetting not seeing him.
Surely you're still backing the Brumbies.
The Waratahs are my dark horse. But yes, give me the
dark horse has been absolutely fucking stinking it out.
They've only lost 1 game. They were unbeaten until last week.
Yeah, but they haven't played well. They haven't played well.
It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you play if you win the games.
Okay, well, I'm going Brumbies.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Brumbies.
By 5. I reckon the Waratahs stay in it, but they just don't get it over the line.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Brumbies by 6.
Yeah, fair enough. And the Fours like this final game of the weekend, always. And they usually perform when they are the final game of the weekend. Them going up against the Drua at home.
Yeah. Well, they're the final game of the weekend because they play their home games are in Western Australia and the time zone is further behind.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
But yes, they do love the last game. And this has got high scoring written all over it.
They've got their big boys back, though.
They do. Tizano's back, which is great. Ben Donaldson back. Obviously, Nick White back. Dylan Peach back. Who else? Darcy Swain back. He wasn't there last week, I don't think.
I'm not too sure. I think he might have actually played.
Oh, okay. But then, and then obviously you got pretty strong Drua side for Drua standards as well. Draft Sissi back at fullback. Rakuro's in, so no more Celestino Rabatamata. Logana Marcy's still in there. Yusefo Marcy's in there again. He was sensational last year.
Do you reckon he's injured again?
I don't know. He's not in the team, so maybe. But he didn't play great last week or the week before, so who knows? Yeah. Caleb Munt's back at 10 instead of Armstrong Ravula. Kuravoli starting at 9. And then Canaveri, another key player for them in at hooker.
Yeah, that's all nicely said, but the Force have this one.
I'm just going to back the Drua again because if I keep...
we're disagreeing on 3 of them.
Yeah. Because I think the Drua will pitch up and get a win. They haven't yet, and other than the Chiefs, it's crazy. The Drua haven't won the games they probably should have won, and then they beat the Chiefs, who have been the best team. So I don't really know what's going on with the Drua sometimes, but I'll keep backing them. So give me the Drua by a cheeky amount. Give me the Drua by like 11.
No, I'm going Force by 16.
Jesus, we're a long way apart.
Not Chiefs. Force by 16.
Yeah, we're a long
at home. They like that last game. Nice and sunny outside. Doesn't fit the Drua. Dylan Peach. Hat-trick.
Big calls. Probably right. You're doing better than I am with the predictions at the moment.
I know for a fact. Tizano also will score a try. Have him in your fantasy.
He's always in my fantasy.
Fair enough. Anyway, Aiden, thank you for joining, as always. People, please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button and go to Aiden's TikTok. Go show him some love and support. Aiden, you'll probably be live on TikTok for these games, right?
Potentially. I wasn't last week, but I was super tired. I got up for them and then was like slobbing in bed.
Is that another word for hungover?
No, not hungover. Just getting up at 3 a.m. is tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'll try my best to be live for...
Well, the other times you haven't woke up at 3 a.m. You just like stay awake.
Yeah, that's true.
You stumble into the house and then half an hour later it's the kickoff.
Yeah, that's true. I'll try and be live for maybe the Blues, Crusaders and Waratahs Brumbies because they're reasonable.
Yeah, and they are sexy games. Those are must-watch TV.
Yeah.
Anyway, appreciate everyone for joining. Hit that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next time. Cheerios.